Hi, my name is Anna Metter. I'm a 4-H Youth Development Agent with the Allen County and University of Kentucky College of Agriculture, Food and Environment Cooperative Extension Services. Today I'm coming to you with a video teaching you how to start seeds in order to later transplant those and get those ready for your garden. Today I'm going to be discussing a couple of different things during this video. I'm going to discuss the materials and the supplies that you need in order to get your seeds started with this starter kit. Additionally, I'm going to show you the process and the steps in order to prepare yours and get it ready for the garden. And third, going to kind of talk a little bit in the end about what is available this time of the year and what you do next with these seeds that you've started and that type of thing. So today, let's get started talking about our materials that you're going to need for today's project. It's the perfect type of project, mom and dads, because it doesn't require much, mostly just things that you've got around the house. So today, we're doing a project, our seed starters, and we're actually just making these out of really simple, either toilet paper holders or paper towel holders. So I'm going to refer to it to either toilet paper or paper towels because I get my words twisted up. But today we're going to be working with either one of these. It's really simple. You can just cut this paper towel holder down to size, and you can actually make a couple out of those. Other materials that you're going to want is going to be a water, like a spray bottle or source of water would be fine, faucet, just small amounts of water. Additionally, you're going to want a pair of scissors. You're going to want seeds, of course. Some of the seeds that I have with me today include spinach. I brought some carrots. I've got 2 different varieties of tomatoes, which we'll be planting and preparing a couple of these to get started with us today. And then at the end, I may even discuss a little bit more about some alternative ways. If you've got these materials, great. Most people are using a starter kit that looks a lot like this possibly. I got this one from Tractor Supply Company. Comes with 32 different container spots. Really great option, but maybe you're stuck inside, you don't want to get out, you can definitely do this way. And we all know that there's a lot of extra toilet paper holders around due to the COVID-19 crisis, so let's put those to good use with today's project. So first step is gathering those materials. Second, you're going to start by either starting with just a toilet paper holder or a paper towel holder. Today, this paper towel holder is actually going to give me 3 of this size, just about. So keeping that in mind, when it kind of measures into 3 different amounts, I'm going to imagine where my halfway point is, and I'm going to make 2 cuts on this paper towel holder, 1 in there, so that I have 3 pretty equivalent thirds of this paper towel holder. You can actually squish this paper towel holder in order to complete this project. So you're going to place 1 cut here, and I'll turn it upright so the viewers can kind of see where I'm placing that first cut. And then imagining about halfway there, I'm going to place my second cut, flattening it just a little bit right there. And these rolls are going to spring back up, no problem. So next, you're going to take each of these thirds of the paper towel holders or the toilet paper holders, and you're actually going to place 4 different cuts on the end, on one end, choose one end, and you're going to make 4 cuts. So in order to do this, I'm going to place 1 cut, and more importantly, I do want to pay some attention to the size of the cut. The cut should be about, if your index finger, the length of that last ligament is about 1 inch, I want you to cut it to about 1/2 to 3/4. So let's aim for 3/4 of an inch on that cut. It's got to be just long enough in order to make this next fold that I'm going to talk about. So for today's purposes, I'm going to make 4 of these cuts. what I'm going to be doing, and probably just to best imagine it, is if you've ever packed up a home or packed up a box, something like that. Typically when you're packing, you've got 4 edges of the box and you fold those over in order, and that's what we're going to be discussing, and that's how I want you to do this today. These cuts, by folding these, and we can even pre-fold these, it's going to give us the opportunity to actually close up the end of this paper towel or toilet paper holder. If we didn't close the end up, it'd be rather difficult, and that soil, that medium's going to fall out of it. So so that folding process today is going to help us out. So what you're going to be doing is I want you to turn one of your 4 sides over, and then we're just going to choose one direction. So I'm going to choose to go to the left side. I'm going to fold that one down, followed by this next one, the 3rd side. Okay, so right now I just simply, nothing really fancy, just have 3 sides folded down. If you've ever folded a box in a packing box that doesn't require tape, then you know that you're going to actually take this 4th corner and it's going to overlap like you would with that last little step, but you're actually going to flip up the first of the 4 sides corners to tuck it up underneath. By doing this, you're creating a kind of self-contained, self-fastened container, and that's going to be perfect regardless if it's got a little hole here or not. So this is what you want that to look like. I've got some other examples. I will even say that I practiced with some other different cuts, maybe 6 cuts. Did that provide a good one? I didn't quite like how 6 cuts didn't really hold my container folded shut like I'd really like it to. So I'm going to advise that 4 cuts is typically what I found to be the best option. Today, one of the materials I didn't mention, but probably besides the seeds, the next most material is going to be our soil. So today in my cherry here, I've got a pre-mixed potting mix from Miracle Grow. You can use any variety. I'm not suggesting Miracle Grow over any other, but there are a lot of nice potting soil mixes that serve as a nice soil medium. Now a soil medium is essentially a material that is prepared to accept seeds and encourage growth. Even though this dirt behind us back here in our yards or whatever it is great for in the garden and when you typically just till it up, for starting those seeds, we want to focus on a soil that is that doesn't have maybe disease, other insects, things that might prevent it from having that great start like we'd like for it to. So today I am going to start with a potting soil mix. Even has some of those pellets in it that are going to give it that extra boost to give it that good start. So today I'm going to take the one that I've already started, the bottom is closed on it, and I'm just going to simply take it and kind of scoop up some soil. Of course, you can use a measuring cup if you'd like. The most important part of this is going to be to leave a little bit of headspace at the top of your container. Now, you might be saying, what's headspace mean? Headspace is pretty simple. It's just meaning that I'm going to leave a little bit of space. I've actually left about an inch in the top of my container just to allow that water somewhere to settle as it's kind of soaking into my pod here, and I think that does a good job. Next, we're going to start with our seeds. We're nearly halfway done. Nice and simple, families. Anybody, even your youngins, can do this. So today I'm going to choose my Roma tomatoes that I picked up at Tractor Supply, but of course there's lots of different places if you're in Scottsville. There's the Farmer Service. There's lots of different options, Ace Hardware, or there's lots of different stores in the community that you can pick these seeds up from. Now, what you should know and what you're probably not going to see on the seed on the screen as I show it, but these seeds are really small. Tomato seeds are not very large at all. And actually, there's a lot smaller seeds than tomato seeds, but these seeds are rather small, and they don't really amount to, they're not even as large as the head of an eraser off of a pencil. They're not even that large. So parents, be a little cautious, especially if kids are trying to open that envelope, that they don't make a massive mess and spill a whole lot of those. But today I'm going to place these on my table. In these containers, I'm going to end up planting 3 different seeds, knowing that sometimes things, the success rate is not as great on some seeds, maybe due to the fertility of that seed, whatever it is, the genetics of it. So for today's purposes, as I'm starting seeds, I'm actually going to be planting 3 in each of these starter pods, and that's going to allow me, once they start taking growth, to actually decide out of the 3, maybe 1 didn't get started, or maybe 2 didn't get started. Additionally, you may find that one's starting a lot stronger than the other. So by planting 3, it gives me the option to later choose which ones that I would actually like to work with, and it gives me the chance to choose which ones I'd like to work with, and then I can trim down and kind of weed out those other ones that I'm not interested in. So with working with these tomato seeds, and most seeds, when you're starting them, they don't need to be plunged really deep into that potting soil. Once again, I'm going to use that measurement of an index finger. That last ligament is about 1 inch, especially on adults. So you want to go about half of that. Half of your ligament of your first finger, which really isn't a whole lot, as you can tell. So I'm going to just simply, there's some tools. You can always use something like this that comes in a transplant kit like this, or you can simply just use your finger. But for today's purposes, to kind of help demonstrate, I'm going to show that I'm just gently pushing back that soil just to give me a little space for that seed. Once again, doesn't need to be really deep. I'm going to place and kind of separate, and I'm going to give myself enough space where I can actually put 3 different seeds. And I'm just going to lightly cover that up with some potting soil on top of that. Final step of this process is going to be to take a spray bottle, or just kind of drop a little bit of water out of that faucet, and you're going to want to wet this. And I didn't mention it from the beginning, but starting with a potting soil that's got a little bit of moisture to it is really beneficial to getting that good start. And I'm just going to put a couple of different squirts in it. And this little guy is ready to go. So it's that simple. Starting that seed to prepare to later transplant is this simple. Once again, materials you needed was a paper towel roller or a toilet paper roll. You need potting soil, you need a source of water, you need some scissors, and you need the seeds themselves. Nice and easy. These will be ready to go. March is a perfect time to be planting several different plants, and I've got a list here. March is perfect. March and into April, because we're getting pretty close now, is a great time to go ahead and plant those tomatoes, which is what we've done today. Other ones that are really great are spinach, potatoes, peppers, peas, onions, mustard, lettuce, kale, eggplants, cucumber, chives, carrots, and beets. 4 of those specifically are really ideal to start indoors. Tomato is one of those 4 varieties that's really does best getting that warmer start indoors and then being transplanted outside. So those 4 that do really well indoors, great time to go ahead and start those, would be tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, and cucumbers. And that's because there's some cooler season type of plants. They really like that earlier start when it's nice and cool. Now, I did want to mention, of course, like I said, I've got this transplant tray here. that transplant tray is something that you can pick up if you're thinking about really going out and maybe starting all of your plants for your garden. You're maybe talking about a larger quantity of plants. Something like this does a really great job, and there's some elements of this that I want to mention that might be beneficial for kind of developing in order to make these self-made kits kind of work. This tray does a really great job. Of course, you don't have to have this, but this is going to create a greenhouse effect. It's going to warm. It's going to cause that moisture that is trapped when you're watering your plants to kind of stay inside and not get lost. So the tray does a really great job of keeping and encouraging that warmth for the starter of those seeds. Inside this tray, like I said, this is a 32. It has starter sets of a beginner pod, and this is actually made out of, this starter pod is actually made out of coconut like husks, which gives it a nice, clean, healthy, disease-free kind of start that we really are looking for. And in the bottom is a tray. The tray is really nice for self-watering. That way that soil, that potting mixture is actually pulling that up from the bottom and not saturating your plants all the time. It is really important if you're using a tray not to leave those plants saturated in the bottom of the tray, so leaving a lot of water for a long period of time. Once you've seen that potting soil has soaked it all up, is nice and damp, then you're going to want to remove that tray from the bottom water holding tray, because you don't want root rot, which occurs when the roots don't get enough access to air and they're submerged in water the whole time. So those are some things that are this is another tool that's super handy, does the same job of this, does a great job, but it is another option if you're looking for something larger. And then I want to finally kind of conclude on kind of thinking in the long term. What are you going to do once you start your plants? When are we talking about? So some things you want to keep in mind, and I like this tool that this particular kit came with. There's no doubt that you could do something similar, as simple as writing it in Sharpie, but labeling what seeds are in what containers is pretty important, especially because sometimes it takes a couple weeks or months to get a real good feel on which plant that is, especially when they start really small. It can be a little difficult. So the very first thing you want to do, or once you get it finished, either start with your paper towel holder to begin with and go ahead and write it on there, or at the very end, go ahead and write what that's going to be, and that's going to help you, and even when that planting date's going to be. So for tomatoes, it's really important to get that kind of early start, that cooler start, and then they are actually going to be planted they need about 60 days is what our publication, 60 to 70 days of a good start before you want to transplant those into a larger setting like your garden. That way you're going to have a nice pretty sprout going on that's going to have a lot more success before you get it out into the garden. There's a greater success rate there. You don't have so many outside elements kind of fighting those tomatoes to get that good start that you want. So once again today, we finished making our starter pods for transplanting our plants that'll later hopefully go in the garden, or maybe if not the garden, maybe you are going to do container gardening, maybe you're going to do an upcycle type of project, maybe a window box display, a raised garden bed, whatever that is. These are ready to go. These will be ready to actually just plant right into that potting soil. Eventually this paper towel holder, whatever it is, will actually provide some extra nice fiber into that soil, and it will actually decompose, which makes this a great project. Now's the time to go ahead and get started on this. If you've got questions about today's video, please contact me at the Allen County Cooperative Extension Services. Our phone number is 270-237-3146, or you can always email me at anna.metter1@uky.edu, and that information can also be found on our website. We look forward to doing a lot more of these videos as we kind of dive into this new virtual experience with 4-H. So if you've got any questions, make sure to contact us, and if you've got suggestions on what you'd like to see next coming through, this is National Ag Week, we'd love to hear it from you. Contact us, and have a great day.